You're there, physically present, sitting at the table, standing in the circle, listening to the conversation, and yet something strange happens. People talk over you, they forget you were speaking. Your ideas pass unnoticed. Sometimes hours go by in a group setting, and no one has directly engaged with you. It's a peculiar feeling, not rejection, not conflict, something quieter. You feel invisible. And here's the paradox. Many people who feel invisible in groups are actually the most observant people in the room. You notice subtle dynamics, tone shifts, body language, power structures. You understand the social landscape deeply, but you rarely step into it because somewhere in your past, you learned a silent rule. The safest way to belong is to take up less space, less voice, less emotion, less presence. So, you adapted. You became the quiet one, the listener, the observer. But over time, that survival strategy created an unintended consequence. People stopped seeing you. To understand this pattern, we need to examine the psychology of emotional neglect. Emotional neglect occurs not through dramatic trauma, but through absence. When a child's thoughts, emotions, or presence are consistently overlooked, they internalize a quiet message. My voice does not matter. Unlike overt abuse, emotional neglect is subtle. There is no obvious event, only a slow erosion of psychological visibility. Many people who feel invisible also developed hypervigilance. They learn to observe others carefully, scanning for mood shifts, social cues, and potential disapproval. Their nervous system became highly tuned to external dynamics. But there is a cost. Hypervigilant individuals often focus more on monitoring the room than expressing themselves within it. Another relevant concept is avoidant attachment. When early caregivers were emotionally distant, the child learned that expressing needs could lead to dismissal. So the psyche adopted a protective strategy, self-containment. You handle your thoughts privately. You process emotions internally. You avoid drawing attention. Over time, this shapes the brain's default mode network, which governs internal self-reflection. Instead of engaging externally, the mind retreats inward. You become someone who lives inside observation rather than participation. Not because you lack depth, but because you were never taught that your voice was welcome. The deepest pain of invisibility is not silence. It is erasure. You exist, but your existence leaves no ripple. Carl Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But invisibility interrupts this process. Because becoming yourself requires expression. It requires occupying space in the world. When you feel invisible, something subtle happens. You begin editing yourself before others ever see you. You hold back comments. You soften opinions. You delay speaking. And eventually, the moment passes over and over again. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Invisible individuals waste enormous psychological energy, anticipating social reactions, rather than participating in life. But perhaps the most profound cost is existential. Rainer Maria Rilke wrote that the deepest human need is to be witnessed, to be seen not just physically, but psychologically, to have someone acknowledge, "I see you, I hear you, you exist in my awareness." When that witnessing is absent, a quiet grief forms, the grief of never feeling fully present in the world. Children who learn invisibility often grow into adults who unintentionally recreate the same pattern. You might recognize some of these behaviors. In social settings, you wait for the perfect moment to speak, and the moment never comes. Others dominate the conversation while you quietly observe. In career environments, you produce excellent work, but rarely promote yourself. You assume your efforts will naturally be noticed. Often, they aren't. In relationships, you become the listener, the emotional support, but your own needs remain unspoken. In conflict, you avoid confrontation. You worry that asserting yourself will create tension or rejection, so you withdraw instead. In self-worth, you assume others are more interesting, more confident, more worthy of attention. This belief becomes self-fulfilling. In identity, you define yourself through observation rather than action. You understand people deeply, but struggle to reveal yourself. But here's the critical truth. These behaviors are not personality flaws. They are coping mechanisms. They developed in environments where shrinking felt safer than expanding. Unlearning begins with awareness. You start noticing the moments when you silence yourself, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Healing invisibility is not about becoming loud or dominant. It's about reclaiming presence. Inner child work often reveals the younger version of yourself, the child who tried to speak but was ignored. That child learned an unfortunate lesson. Speaking doesn't change anything. Part of healing is gently rewriting that belief. Shadow work also plays a role, because invisibility often hides a suppressed fear. If people truly see me, they might reject me. But authenticity always carries risk. And yet, it is the only path to genuine connection. Practically, healing involves small acts of presence. Speak one thought before you fully analyze it. Share an opinion without over-editing. Allow yourself to occupy conversational space. You may feel uncomfortable at first. That discomfort is not danger, it is growth. Your nervous system is learning that visibility is safe. Carl Jung once wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. And when you look honestly, you may realize something powerful. You were never invisible. You were simply taught to hide. But the world does not need smaller versions of you. It needs the full presence you once learned to suppress." If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who often sits quietly in the room, but understands everything. And if you want to explore more of the hidden psychology shaping human behavior, subscribe and stay with us. Because awareness transforms patterns. And remember, the goal is not to be fixed, but to become whole.